that we just got signed off Friday is no long metal industry company. Anybody ever heard of these? This is an interesting company. Okay. They went bankrupt. Okay, now actually, when we first talked to the founder, or not founder, the guy that HSBC brought in to clean up the company, he wanted this case to be a big hero that comes in and cleans up this company. Well, he actually did do a good job, okay, but there were some, what you really like to understand is not what the news story is, what really happened, what was the causality, what were good theories to apply and bad theories to apply. Right, so that'll be an interesting case. We have another semiconductor case, close to completion and 4 more in the pipeline, various stages. But you know what? You learn a lot from all of this. Right, so that's basically what I had for you tonight. And I appreciate your all coming in and being patient for this rather long talk. I'd like to open it up for questions or discussion. Anything you would like to ask?
It's interesting if you can compare the LCD business to the risk management or this kind of thing.
Yes, it is. That's a very interesting question. Okay, and one of the benefits of doing this type of case research is before doing the GMA case, I said DRAMs, LCDs. If you want to put up a Gen 9 or Gen 8 or Gen 10 LCD fab, that'll cost you $5 billion. Right. If you want to put up 32 nanometer DRAM fab or semiconductor fab, that's $4 or $5 billion. Very capital intensive. So, and one of my opening correlation speculations was there's something about managing capital intensive businesses that there must be some common things, like high risk, capital expense, and all that. But as we dug into this, what we learned was an anomaly, right? You're surprised. Yeah, this is why you do this type of research. We found an anomaly. Very interesting anomaly. JC was with me when because I'm testing this. I'm asking this like, well, you must have learned how to manage this cyclicality and these huge capital investments. He said, let me tell you something, right? LCD business is not like the DRAM business for one reason. Okay, it's the depreciation, the amortization of your capital expense as a percent of your product cost. In semiconductors, in DRAMs, if it costs me $1 NT to make the product, or 10 NT, for every dollar it costs me to make the product, 60, 65, 70% of that is amortization. Okay, why is that? It's because the technology advances so fast that the tools are obsolete in 2 to 4 years. And they're very expensive and I have to replace them in 2 to 4 years. But in LCDs, the pixels don't get any smaller. The design rules don't change. So actually, amortization as a percentage of product cost is only about 5 to 10%. Okay, and so I don't have to replace it because I don't have to replace the tools. So it's like, okay, that's an interesting finding. Correlation so far. I'm trying to build it into theory. But what are the implications of that? Okay, one of the implications of that is if I have a cyclical downturn, I predict that LCD makers can shut down their fab and not die, right? Because, the amortization cash flow isn't, it's not going to kill them as bad if you have deep pockets. But if 70% of your product cost is amortization, you cannot afford not to run that factory, okay? Which, the key DRAM prices last year for, I think it was gigabit DRAM, fell from $6 to $1. Why did that happen? It's because nobody can afford to stop running their factory. So at the back of the factory, all these DRAMs are coming out, whether they have customers or not, and the price goes down. Right, so understanding that correlation, or, it's not quite prescriptive, but one of the things I like to understand is this prescriptive? Can I use it as a theory to predict behavior? That's how you apply this stuff. That's why it's so interesting. Other questions? Yeah.
Back to the theory.
Yeah.
Do you think Ted Chiang made the decision to go into the OLPC based on his theory of destructive, or is it just basic mainly just because of basic accounting?
Well, if you ask Ted, what he'll actually say is, he said, his words, and I think it may have been in the case, is he said, we're going to use it as an opportunity to diagnose our supply chain. Okay, and what he was really saying is, I need to play in this game, okay, and I'm going to see, am I just going up in cost, or can I go down, right, on kind of, and take out features and go to an underserved market for which this thing would be good enough? How good is my supply chain? How low can I go? Right, so I would argue that he was actually using this OLPC to test to what extent quanta can be disrupted. Okay, that and this kind of Web 2.0 model, that's what he learned, right? And it's, so I think they've sold about 600,000 of the OLPCs, or maybe $1 million or something. It's not been real successful, but for quanta, it was a great move. Really great project. So, yes.
Or just one of those very good questions. There's this old leaf, or they are making their commodity, and that becomes less profit, and further the problem, and trying to find the solution. Maybe that's one another way to make the innovation. But actually, I think the key to success is that how can you know the